I was struggling with an addiction to pornography and kind of living a secret life away from Megan. I would show her the sides of me that I wanted her to see, the good sides, and I would keep those sides that I didn't want her to see, the darker sides, hidden. And so that kind of came to fruition on a family trip where that addiction and that coping mechanism culminated with infidelity in our marriage and for me on a family trip, and not being able to live with the shame there, I confessed that to Megan. I confessed the infidelity. Through a series of events, she ended up asking me the question, is that a result of pornography? Because usually they go online. And even then, after admitting and confessing the infidelity, there was still something inside of me saying, like, she doesn't need to know that part, so keep that secret. And so, but by the grace of God, I was able to confess that part of my life to her as well. And so, through conversations and friends, we were able to find out about Mid-Valley Fellowship and started to get involved.
I'd forgiven him, and I was expecting all this healing to happen. And there just wasn't trust that was being put back in our relationship. And because there wasn't any trust, I lived in so much fear of something happening again. And because of that fear, it drove me to self-sufficiency. I wanted to be self-sufficient as a wife. I wanted to be self-sufficient as a mom, because if I could do it all on my own, if something happened again, I got it. Like, I could take care of it. We could do it. So I would never go to Greg about anything. I wouldn't tell him how I was feeling. I wouldn't seek him out. I didn't want to need him. And so I was the queen of, I'm fine. Whenever he'd come to me and see that I was still hurting, still grieving, I would tell him, no, I'm good, I'm fine. And that would grow into resentment and bitterness, and eventually it just would all come out on top of him, and it was just this very unhealthy cycle in our marriage.
For me, life was fine in every sense of the word fine. I avoided emotions. I didn't want to deal with them. Megan and I's marriage was strained because although I confessed those sins and my addiction, I kind of saw that as, okay, I confessed it, and we can move on with life now. And but because I wasn't dealing with what Dwan said before about those root causes that I didn't even know about at the time, I just kind of thought that we could just move on from it. But there was still so much stirring and so much coping going on in my life that we weren't growing closer together. One of the biggest things that I learned through Mid-Valley Fellowship was that I did have emotions, and those were valid emotions, and dealing with those, interacting with those, I guess, more than dealing with them, and what that actually looks like in my life, how hard that is sometimes. It's much easier to stuff and not deal with them, and that's where the coping mechanisms came in, was trying to hide those emotions. So being able to share those feelings and express those feelings in a healthy way with Megan was huge. And then learning about my identity in Christ, that was one of the big things that I really, really learned was I was coping with that because I didn't have a true identity in Christ, and so I was finding that from external means. And so that and my worth and struggling with worthlessness, so growing in all of those areas.
Being able to recognize what I was feeling and naming it, and then for our relationship, as trust continued to be built back into our marriage, feeling safe to be vulnerable with Greg and share how I was feeling, and know that he was going to receive that. And it was I think those were very key things that it was interesting to me of the building back of trust, that it took both of us to do that. I think for a long time I thought, that's up to him. Like, he's the one who broke it, so that's his responsibility. But it took me having to step out and share my emotions with him and trust him with that, and that built that back little by little.
free is the word I would describe how I'm feeling, and I feel we are feeling in relationship now. I don't shy away from feelings anymore. I know how to express the feelings I'm feeling, but more importantly, I know why I'm feeling what I'm feeling, just from my past and things I've learned.
For me, I mean, to be honest, I still struggle with triggers every so often of things, whether it's something on a movie or TV, or people have a similar experience to something that we've had, or someone brings something up that kind of stings from the past. And so it's the practice of now reminding myself, but then reminding the enemy too, of everything that God's done and the victory that he's had in that. And so I still kind of, come up on those times. But I also am able to share that with Greg. And God's so gracious, and then using that to deepen the intimacy in our relationship through what was broken and just the ugliness of the past too. So that's been a beautiful thing, I think, in our relationship. I think for me, just with the future, I used to fear the what ifs down the road. And now, I mean, we live in a broken world. We live in reality. Things are going to come. But we don't have to worry about what's ahead because God's brought us through these trials, and he's made us stronger, and that he's not going to forsake us, that he's going to be with us no matter what down the road and what we face, and that from what we've learned and gained from Mid-Valley Fellowship, that I know that we have the tools that we need to communicate and walk through that in a healthy way.